This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Tuesday, July 14th, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So again, another pre-market, another really great trades that have came in here. First one we're going to be looking at is IMV. So we know we had beautiful prints, and I'm just going to go with the most recent because the first time that we came up to 8, I was not happy with what we got there, and you can see it pushed up, but it ended up coming right back underneath. And then when we just came up before, we came the beautiful prints, off-level prints that came in at 751. We pulled back a little bit towards them. It held, and we ended up making our push right towards that print line. But again, I am not happy at all with what I saw at that 8 level. Especially the buying's not terrible below during the consolidation, but the problem is that if this stock wants to go to 10, we should have seen somebody, at least anybody, coming in at that 8. I mean, we had maybe 5 prints, but they were kind of scattered out. So I can't really get behind this. A trigger to the upside is not going to give us the full percentage of a trigger because of the fact that there's just not really enough. Remember, these cheaper stocks, we want to see, if we wanted to go to our price target is going to be 9, we want to see the buying for 10. If our price target is going to be 850, we want to see the buying for 9. And it just unfortunately was not there. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on it. But like I said, I'm going to have to see some real nice building back down here, especially where that guy, because we know there's a market maker sitting there at that 751 spot. But unfortunately, the amount of shares that they had and the amount of shares we saw come out underneath that print line were very, very close. So it's very possible that person just made, quick trade, took their money and pretty much ran. So we're going to need to see more for me to, be able to look for a trigger back towards that upside. Obviously, try to get shares, but unfortunately, most people probably are not going to be able to. INMB, now my favorite trade of the morning. Guys, I can't stress this enough. What number is right here? What number is right here? So we start pushing up on 20, and we start pushing up on basically nothing. We get some nice ask prints that come in at that 21 level. Then we come on, we get some real nice ask prints that come in at 22. We push up all the way to our highs right here where we can see 22.90. We do not quite hit 23. We get a trigger down, and guess what number it goes right back to. So that made, not only was the long trade a great pre-market trade, but guys, this has just been like clockwork over and over again. I'm starting to love the level. Now I hate it when it's at 20, but I love it when it gets away because it just kind of brings it back over and over again. So keep in mind, we do have some really good buying that's up here at that 22 level that was not really satisfied on those ask side of things. And orders are extremely thin. That's why I put out there this morning that a little bit goes a long way, especially in the pre-market, because there's just not much out there to really get bigger shares of. So knowing that we had a 22, we know we're going to have a big pullback because our range is absolutely huge. But I am going to be looking for it to go back, and especially we're getting further away from 20. So a nice push. Obviously, if we have ask prints at 22, best case scenario here, I want to be in it under 20 because we know when it gets to 20, we're going to see those games being played, and we'd rather be up a few bucks, or in this case, at $1.30, but you're not going to get the entire amount. But you know what I mean. Getting your entry coming in and then being, having a nice kind of, cushion underneath, with your position, getting underneath that 20. So when it does play the games, you're able to kind of work it a little bit more because once you're up above 20, guess what? Those games start again. It's going to end up coming right back down. It's going to be kind of hard to control that loss. So that's basically perfect case scenario for the trade coming in here. But I'm going to be looking for a trigger back towards those 22 ask prints. EQ back on our list today. All right, so obviously go out there and make sure that you get shares of it. You should have obviously done this, a lot earlier. Now, the thing about this is that it hasn't given us anything really great during the pre-market. If you look at the prints themselves, there's just not really much that's going on in it yet, but we know that this thing is a huge mover. And even with the fact that it's not printing that much, the volume is huge. And if you look at this pattern that's coming in, it really is kind of sitting in a consolidation still. It's, really like a very extended staircase. So we know we had the buying yesterday coming up above that 20 level as we made that huge push. So having the buying there, once again, 20 is just that level that brings it right back down. I mean, you can see this. Look at this. In the aftermarket, we jump up to 30. Guess where it comes back to? It's just, I just keep seeing it over and over again. So you got to use that as a huge variable. When you keep seeing something happen, 80% of the time, that's a huge variable that you want to look for. And for some reason, we just keep getting these stocks around the 20 level. I mean, it's just most of the stocks that we're seeing being traded are right in that area. I don't care why. I can make a few guesses, but at the end of the day, as long as it stays high probability, just going to keep working with that. All right, but overall, we need to see something more on this. But we know it can move. We know it's more than likely going to move because based off what we saw yesterday, and it's already traded 1.2 million shares. On average, it trades 5 million. Yesterday, 100 million. I highly doubt that all the interest is just going to die, and it's got a huge range. So right now, I don't have anything for you because I do need, in order, for us to know what's going on, we do need some type of controlling prints or some prints, which it just has not shown yet, sitting in this consolidation. But once they come up, definitely something I'm going to be looking to trade. Let's move on to our side list, RIGL. So this is kind of similar to what we were talking about before in IMV, is that when it came up to this 3 level, I was not happy with what we saw. It was a mix. It wasn't that great of buying, and obviously it's trading 4.4 million shares, so it's going to be mixed at most levels, but I want to see that money flow come in, and I just didn't really get it there at that 3. So I wouldn't be shocked to see them kind of run this up real quick and then sell off on top of people based off of buying it from underneath. You can see how long this consolidation has been here. And it's a pretty, not a huge move, but a pretty substantial move coming in. So I'm going to need to see more coming in here, but it's definitely has buying at the lows. It made for a beautiful trade coming up above this print line, but then it just kind of died out. So once again, I'm going to need to see more because I just don't have the confidence in what we saw there for us to be able to even break past the high right here, about 310. So need to see more there as well. VNRX, I know we just keep talking about it over and over and over again, but shares are available, and we know that this thing could move. Cheaper stock, can go both ways. Guess what? Something that we need to focus on as well. This is our money stock. And one thing that I really do like about it is almost all morning it's been sitting in this consolidation, which is telling us building. Now, we got these above the ask prints that just look like they were reported later because you can see where those highs are all the way up here, 710, one of the highs, 713. In that area. So it's all basically back up there, but I haven't seen any buying coming in afterwards that really shows us that this thing needs to go back up. So really what that tells me is that based off this low volume jump, that we're going to end up kind of returning back towards that downside. But we can't go any further than 5 because 5, is essentially, we're going to get new information. It's going to tell us what's going on and what our expectations are going to be. Oh, yes, sorry. But VNRX has shares is available too. Yes, VXRTs from yesterday. I'll get to that in a second. But you're absolutely right. I just got my dyslexia. But overall, we're going to need to see a little bit more that comes back into here. We saw those prints coming there, but like I said, that, same everything that I said. But next on to VXRT and WKHS, which we've been watching over and over again. There are shares available of this as well. But coming in is, again, this, I really like this coming in. So we could see that 1350, we got some selling. You have a little bit of, buying there, but not much. But then look at this positions that are coming in, 1340, 1330, 13. So we are seeing a lot of selling that's coming into this morning. And based off the prints that we have enough selling to be able to break below this. Okay, 1250, remember, big psychological level on a stock that's moving this much with that big of a range. We're going to be looking at those, the $5, 750, 10, 1250, 15. In those areas. So 1250 really is going to try to act as a magnet. And like I said, we do have the selling to be able to get down below there. A little bit of a pull up based off of the fact that it did not give any type of pull up from the selling that we had before. So I'm going to be looking for, these riders that we're seeing at that 1295 to kind of bring this thing back up before we end up satisfying that selling down towards the 13. And then WKHS, nice little move this morning towards the upside, but then it kind of just died out. There just wasn't much. So it's another one I'm going to be keeping my eye on, but I'm not even going to put VXRT and WKHS on the list because we know those things, we've been watching them over and over again. So obviously another one to, to keep an eye on, it's definitely going to give a trade at some point, is NIO. We saw a bunch of selling that was coming into this. This thing has just been kind of almost one of those everyday type trades over and over again because it just continues to move and you're able to not only short it, but go long, but you can short it as well. So just another one that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. And other than that, okay, so I see PRCP just popped up. Let's take a look. Okay, see what we got here. All right, so okay, beautiful buying that came in at that 680 level, jumped all the way up. Let's see, did we get any? No real selling after that. 690 has some pretty decent buying. So yeah, I'm going to need some type of controlling prints here, but that beautiful position right here at 680, and I do not see them getting out because they would have gotten out in a little bit bigger shares. So it looks like we're pulling back from there, but definitely something else that we will keep on our list. Now, anything else out there that I missed? Anything else out there? All right, so that looks like it. So remember, Traders Exchange today, 12:30. I will talk to everybody in the chat, and happy trading.